It's all coming together at all these different points and angles where you can't even really connect the dots because it's in this very interesting pattern that is not something that you would be able to make. Like, what even is the shape? It's only the phrase, as they say, hindsight is 2020, right? So when you look back, you can see all the connections. You're like, oh, okay, this was a diamond and it had to go in this way. I had to meet this person and take this job and do that thing for this kind of cascade of events. And these keep happening, right? And all of these things can also be connected from different points of connection that you have already been through or you've seen or you've done. And it's not about always trying to squeeze what is happening and all the connections. It's just nice to notice. If you do notice it happening, you're like, oh, I see, thank you, like I love this. It's so good to be in that flow of understanding that the dots do connect eventually instead of trying to resist it, because this is where a lot of things go off the track, a little haywire, let's say, because the issue is that if you're being very resistant to what is unfolding, it's really hard for patterns to occur, right? You kind of get stuck in this one and then you're trying to make other things happen but they're not supposed to happen, or in that way, right? If you're trying to force it, and see how these lines are more thick and more rigid, which might seem good. This is like people clinging on to what they think is best for them, what they really have in their mind, in their heart, but it's not a true thing in their heart. Usually this is led by fear, and this is why it gets so thick. It's like, think about if an organ in your body is damaged, it thickens its walls to try and protect itself. So this is kind of what happens with your life. The walls get thickened and it's harder to get in. It's harder to get in like these other connections because this can get thicker and thicker and thicker, and you yourself can be suffocated by it. You can be in this dense area of feeling like you know what you're doing, but you're pushing it so hard and nothing's working out because it's just not meant to be that way. You're not meant to be holding on to these things so tightly because, yeah, it makes this really thick membrane, and then these things can't actually even shoot off. They can try, but it's not going to be as thick. It can be like a little dotted line instead, but then it might fall flat because it has to put its energy back into this thing of what you're trying to attain or what you're trying to protect yourself from, which may not feel like this. It may not feel like you're trying to protect yourself from something. It may just feel like, I know what I want and this is it and rah, rah, rah. But how can we always know everything? And obviously there's like a deep wisdom knowing, but most of the time these connections, you're only able to do it in hindsight. But if you're not even allowing things to come through, how will you ever get to experience it? And this is not actually a fun place to be. As you can see, it's very dark, it's very heavy, and then you're creating your own offshoots, which have so much heaviness in them too, because it's like, instead of these light, oh yeah, and they're all bouncing around and they're all feeding into each other, this is like, no, this must happen and then this must happen. It's very linear, let's say, which is interesting because things can happen this way too, but very rarely. And these are all very forced and like so much pressure on yourself to then feed into this, right? But it's taking away your energy, it's taking away your life force, like how you feel in the day-to-day, because unfortunately it's not a benefit to be like this. There was a time that maybe this was the way things would, but the way it is now, it's more this light connection of being able to let things unfold and expand as they do. And it's more fun this way. Like, even me drawing this, I'm like, oh, my hand's so light, it feels so fun, look at all these things going on. This does not feel fun. So I can only imagine for the person experiencing it, but it takes for you to be able to understand that you're experiencing these emotions, these waves, these tightness onto every situation to be able to break from it. And it takes time, because look at all of this work that you've put into here. Like, I mean, you've worked very hard, and that's why this can feel really rewarding sometimes, because it's like you've worked so hard and you can see everything in this kind of narrow view that you've had of how things should be. And while that can be good, it's really hard to understand what role you're playing in it. Let's like take this box, right? You don't know you're in the box unless you're aware of the box itself, right? So it's like this kind of like limited view until you can step out of it. So maybe a good practice is to think, okay, well, what else? What else could be shown to me here that I am not aware of? It could be something just different, a little bit outside of your regular box, and you just have to be aware of the box. Just see if you're not clinging so tightly onto how you think things should plan out. Just pay attention to what feels more flowy, what feels more in your connection, like your connection to yourself. Like, try and get rid of this armor, as I call it, this protection that feels like it's there to help, but it's actually these walls that you've built up. Because sometimes these things don't feel great in the moment, but they're all kind of play on each other and help you expand and evolve and be more you, and see what those patterns are that maybe you need to break, what these people can teach you, what these events can show you. But if you're unable to connect to it, then you're just going to stay in this little heavy cycle. So what's one thing you can do? Maybe there's a connection that you had this week, someone you can reach out to that you wouldn't normally, because it's not part of your little purview that you have here. Or maybe there's something that came up in the periphery and you were interested in it, but it's hard for you to reach it because you're so trapped in here. Start taking the steps. Start taking the steps there, because the steps here can lead to all these other connections. And while it won't feel natural, after a time it will, right? If you start bringing your awareness to what is happening outside of your box. And then more things will connect and it will become easier. Instead of being like a dotted line, it will become a more solid, kind of fluidy line. And this is where things happen in a way that you cannot predict. And it's probably better than what you could ever predict, because there's so many different elements here. Right here, there's just XYZ. That's all that's going on here. And this is your like daily cycle loop, how you're thinking about things, but there's so much more. And I want you all to be able to experience all these connections too. Enjoy it while it's here, because this is maybe at a point in your life, this is kind of necessary. This is more like a survival thing, right? But I want everyone to be able to thrive and enjoy all that there is. Even if it doesn't make sense in your brain, it's probably a good thing. If it feels good, follow it and see what that leads to, and then that leads to. But it's good to not have these expectations of it has to lead to something. It's more just looking back, you will see the connection. The hindsight is 2020. In the time, just enjoy it. Be there in the moment. Be there, not here, not in here. And see what comes.